Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
You are most welcome to PENDREAM TV, the only channel that brings you the best and latest updates in politics. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for more updates. Like and also share to other members to watch as well. You can equally leave a comment after watching or send us a voice note on our WhatsApp number 0277128777. Thank you. I want you to join me listening to what Ablakwa have to say about the CHRAJ report, which Kusi Boateng and his team are jubilating. And he's telling them that they should stop their empty propaganda. It will not send them anywhere. And for that matter, they should go and read what CHRAJ has said before they should start jubilating. With that much I would like you to join me listening to what he said into detail. Thank you.
But the Commission on Human Rights and Restorative Justice has recommended a forensic audit and potential prosecution of the trustees of the National Cathedral project. This comes after an investigation into allegations of corruption and abuse of power regarding the controversial project. Now, the findings were contained in a report dated November 22, 2024, following complaints by North Tongu MP Samuel Ablakwa. The report highlighted several breaches of Ghana's procurement laws, particularly in the award of the construction contract to Rebate Company Limited. CHRAJ concluded that the contract was void ab initio for being entered into contrary to the mandatory provisions of the Procurement Act 663 as amended by Act 914. The report, signed by Joseph Whittle, who is the Commissioner of CHRAJ, called on the Public Procurement Authority to intervene and cancel the contract with Rebate Company. The board of the Public Procurement Authority should intervene to cancel the contract for the construction of the National Cathedral between National Cathedral and Rebate, as it has the power to do so under the Procurement Act is quoted. Additionally, CHRAJ urged the Auditor General to conduct a forensic audit of the project, citing concerns about the 229 million cedi spent as of May 31, 2022, described as seed money. This sum of money has been expended on site preparations, contractors mobilization, US fundraising, consultants and symposia, the report noted. Public interest dictates that there ought to be value for money in project execution. Unfortunately, this commission has no expertise to determine whether there has been value for money, considering the project remains in the same state. CHRAJ expressed concern over the reputational risks posed by the project controversies, emphasizing that breaches of procurement laws could attract international embarrassment to the country, considering its international status and that of Rebate Company. The Commission further recommended the Board of Trustees of the National Cathedral be subjected to investigations and possible prosecution for their role in awarding the contract in violation of procurement laws. Commission further recommends for further investigation. Okay, the investigation was triggered by, of course, Akuja Ablakwa's petition. The government and the board have not yet responded to this. There were a couple of issues, whether Reverend Kusi Boateng owns two different passports with two different names. It was confirmed that his passports bore the one name, Kwabena Edu Jemfi. And then on the issue of conflict of interest, the report did not find evidence to prove same. All right. Then there's also the So let's listen to first Bobby Banson. He's a lawyer for Reverend Kusi Boateng, whose passport bears the name. What's the name? Forgive me. Whose passport bears a different name, but of course the claim was that he had two different passports, two different names. His passport bears the name Kwabena Edu Jemfi, and according to the report, he holds only one passport with the name. All right. Now, Mr. Okuja Ablakwa had petitioned on a number of things: the different passport names, conflict of interest in award of a contract to a company called JNS Talent Center, which is owned by the same Reverend Kusi Boateng, under the secondary identity company Edu Jemfi. CHRAJ concluded that no service was rendered by JNS Talent Center, owned by the Reverend Kusi Boateng, under his secondary identity company Edu Jemfi, and that there was no evidence of the said payment. That's clearing him of conflict of interest. Now, I will get you to read full. There are other highlights of the report that are available, but I want to just take Bobby Banson's reaction to the issues around two different names, two passport, conflict of interest. Then we'll hear the petitioner's own response before we get into other details of the report if there's time. So here's Bobby Banson speaking to Umaru Sandra Amadu.
I believe that we can all accept that we cannot have different facts in respect of a matter. The facts that were alleged by the complainant did not support his allegations with the evidence when it mattered most. CHRAJ has investigated, come to those conclusions. The two most important conclusions that he had two different passports with two different names. It found out that that has never been the case. The second conclusion is that he received money for work that he claimed he had done, and the CHRAJ found out that the money was never paid because of work. It was a refund or reimbursement of an amount that was advanced without one single cent of interest on it. So there was no conflict of interest situation that arose. At all points in time, the handlers of the National Cathedral knew that this same person was Kwabena Adu-Gyamfi, was Victor Kusi Boateng. The only other issue is whether or not he has two tax identification numbers, and he obtained them in a manner that was illegal. CHRAJ said they do not have the capacity to investigate that. That is already before the the Ghana Revenue Authority. They are investigating that. Perhaps they will come out with their final findings at a later date. But as it stands now, all the allegations that have been made, none of them has been proven so far.
Was your client heard, though, in the investigation?
Oh, yes. CHRAJ asked for written responses, which we did. Remember, it was Reverend Victor Kusi Boateng, JNS Talent, and the other directors. There were oral hearings with the other directors, not Reverend Kusi Boateng directly. But all the responses that were required by us, we provided it with all the supporting documents. So I would confirm that indeed CHRAJ gave us an opportunity to be heard.
What's the consequence of this decision? Does it then mean that your client is only now known as Reverend Kusi Boateng and not Kwabena Adu-Gyamfi, as was claimed by the Member of Parliament? Or this will simply be an alliance that he uses, which does not necessarily impugn any wrongdoing?
Well, we have always maintained that the proof of identity in our country is either your Ghana card or, with the worst case scenario, your passport. And there is no evidence that he's ever obtained a Ghana card in another name apart from Kwabena Adu-Gyamfi. There is no evidence that he's obtained a passport in another name other than Kwabena Adu-Gyamfi. And so that settles it. And CHRAJ said there was no other evidence before them that he had obtained a passport or any other legal document, be it the Ghana card, in any other name apart from Kwabena Adu-Gyamfi.
How is your client proceeding after this clearance of his name? Are there any actions you're going to take subsequent to the decision by CHRAJ?
Well, he had always knew this would be the conclusion because he knew the truth, and the truth is only one. The truth always stands. You recall that we commenced the defamation suit, which is still pending, based on the allegations that had been made by the complainant, and so I'll not be able to speak into those matters as well as it's still sub judice.
Very well. And in proceeding, the other aspects where CHRAJ said it did not have capacity, would that be an area that you're going to explore further, or because no decision has been taken, you leave it as is?
No, we have not filed a complaint with any other person. The person who has filed the complaint has the burden to prove and to follow it through. As far as we are concerned, everywhere we've been asked to respond to those allegations, we have provided the necessary documents. And so that ends it for us.
Now, while you are celebrating the CHRAJ victory, there was an earlier decision of the High Court on this same matter. When you weigh the two, which one should we deal with? The High Court decision on the one which Ablakwa seems to be holding as a flag of victory, suggesting that he has ended up being victorious. You also holding on to the decision of CHRAJ. Which one should we deal with?
Well, we are not holding on to any decision as the basis of our client's innocence. The truth and the facts and the evidence in support are there. Like I said, we can all have different opinions, but there can only be one set of facts. And the set of facts is what has been found and concluded. We didn't go to CHRAJ. And so we are not saying that we needed CHRAJ's decision to be able to clear, or as it were, confirm that our client has not done anything illegal as had been touted by the complainant. In any event, that decision of the High Court is the subject of an appeal. And so we would also not speak into that because it's subject of an appeal pending currently at the Court of Appeal.
All right, so those were just highlights of that interview. So as I say, there were issues around a potential dual identity, and what CHRAJ did was to look at the documents available to them, which is the passports and the diplomatic passport, and say it's the same name. All right. Then there's the issue of conflict of interest, which they say they did not find. Then there's the issue of procurement breaches, which they say are rife, which they believe merit the stoppage. First, they said that the Public Procurement Authority can stop specific procurement, and then they think that there's further investigation required either by the Ages Department or the Special Prosecutor. All right. So there's a lot of things in the report. It's 165 pages, by the way. Let's hear Okujeto Ablakwa's reaction to this before we can get in some other highlights of the report.
They don't keep records. National Cathedral Secretariat also didn't keep records. The CHRAJ report actually recommends that they should take all of them through a course on proper corporate governance. Your summary of the CHRAJ report is not what I get when I read the CHRAJ report. And you may have to read the report again. CHRAJ only says on the matter of passports that when they went into the database of passports, they found that all passports were in a particular name, Kwabena Edu Jemfi. That's all what CHRAJ is saying. And that confirms the point I have always made, that he was appointed as Victor Kusi Boateng to the board of the National Cathedral Board of Trustees. However, when the state decided to give him a diplomatic passport to carry out his work, that diplomatic passport was issued in a different name, not in Victor Kusi Boateng, but in Kwabena Edu Jemfi. The CHRAJ report is confirming that his diplomatic passport, indeed all his passports, are in the name Kwabena Edu Jemfi, not Victor Kusi Boateng. The CHRAJ report has not disputed the double identity scam he engaged in. Indeed, when you read the report fully, CHRAJ says that they are recommending the double identity scam he engaged in to the Attorney General for further investigation. Because I produced evidence from the DVLA, where over there in the DVLA database, he operates as Victor Kusi Boateng. I also produced evidence from the GRA, the Ghana Revenue Authority, where he is operating in a dual capacity. He has a set of companies he incorporated under the name Victor Kusi Boateng with a different mother, a different date of birth, 2 years apart. And then a different set of companies he operates as Kwabena Edu Jemfi. CHRAJ is saying that all of those matters, the Attorney General should investigate them. But it is only on the issue of passports that they found out that he doesn't have two different passports. All the passports are in the name Kwabena Edu Jemfi. So I am shocked to be seeing headlines that he has been exonerated. Exonerated on what? The fact that he has engaged in a double identity scam has not been cleared. Read the CHRAJ report carefully. He has not been cleared of that. And don't forget that a high court, the Human Rights Court, had the opportunity to go into this matter. And he dragged me to that court saying that I had violated his right to privacy, had violated his fundamental human rights, and that what I had put out was not true. When the court looked at the evidence, the court, in his judgment, said everything I had put out is true. That what he did, to quote the court verbatim, that his conduct borders on criminality. That's not me saying. That's the court. So let's be careful. There's a lot of propaganda out there. I know that election season, this is somebody who we all know is a top advisor to Bawumia and Akufo-Addo. The MPP is desperate to have seen a lot of MPP propagandists distort the CHRAJ report and say that he has been cleared of double identity. They should quote a paragraph where CHRAJ states that this man has not engaged in a double identity scam. I challenge them to produce any portion of the report. All CHRAJ has said is that they didn't find two passports in two different names. But doesn't it hit you as strange that somebody is appointed as Victor Kusi Boateng, official capacity, official position, and then when it comes to a diplomatic passport being issued for the person to carry out his official assignment, it is issued in a different name, Kwabena Edu-Gyamfi. So this is, look, until my expose, who in this country knew that Victor Kusi Boateng was Kwabena Edu-Gyamfi? Who? So this is actually a confirmation of everything I've put out. So I don't see how this will amount to an exoneration or me having been defeated at CHRAJ. It's all just empty propaganda.
Okay, I want to lift a few of the claims that have been made by the Commission in its report. I'm looking at page 141, and if you will indulge me, I just want to read that.
Sure.
It says that searches through to 2021 indicated that, quote, there is no Victor Kusi Boateng in the passport database, unquote. The data provided the Commission shows that the fourth respondent currently holds one non-extant passport number, has been quoted here, issued on 27th October 2021 and set to expire on 26th October 2031, and one diplomatic passport with the number quoted here on 25th November 2021, expiring on 24th November 2025. Two ordinary passports earlier issued to him have since expired. Based on the evidence before it, the Commission finds that, contrary to the complainant's allegations that the fourth respondent, Victor Kusi Boateng, aka Kwabena Edu-Gyamfi, holds two different passports, each bearing one of his two names with different dates of birth on each document, the fourth respondent rather holds one diplomatic and one ordinary passport only under his name, Kwabena Edu-Gyamfi. For avoidance of doubt, at no point in time has the fourth respondent been issued a passport under his name, Victor Kusi Boateng. So this is in response to the issue 7 in your petition. Now, if you look at that carefully, the Commission is saying that in your petition, you allege that he had two different passports with two different names and two different dates of birth. The Commission is saying it has not found any such thing.
Yes, that is on passports. And the foreign minister said same in Parliament when I filed a question on this matter. The foreign minister, if you recall, and listeners can Google this, the foreign minister said that the passports issued to Victor Kusi Boateng were issued to him in the name Kwabena Edu-Gyamfi. CHRAJ should have proceeded to analyze all the other IDs. Why did CHRAJ, in this particular paragraph, in this page, why did they focus on only the passport database? Why didn't they go into the DVLA database, where he operates as Victor Kusi Boateng? Why didn't they go into the GRA database, where he operates as both Victor Kusi Boateng and Kwabena Edu-Gyamfi with different things?
8:38, 8:39 on the City Breakfast Show, which is to Ablakwa speaking to Umar Sandamon. This coming up shortly. I think there are more grave issues beyond even name and the conflict of interest. There are more grave issues around the procurement, the amounts of money spent, and what CHRAJ is now recommending to be done, which I think because of the fuss around the names, that has been glossed over. All right. So if you and by the way, if you look at the members of the board of trustees of Nassau Cathedral, these are very prominent people in society. So if you go to page 137, it says this call for investigation and subsequent prosecution, if necessary, is directed at members of the board of trustees of the Nassau Cathedral who were members as of 2021, and Dr. Paulo Puku Mensah, executive director of the Nassau Cathedral of Ghana, when the contract for the construction was awarded to Rebate Company Limited. The trustees include Apostle Professor Puku Nyina, Chairman of Pentecost Chairperson, who is the chairperson, Archbishop Charles Palmer Buckle, Metropolitan Chief Archbishop Cape Coast, who is the vice chairman, Most Reverend Bishop Justice Ofea Krofi, Anglican Archbishop Emeritus, who is a member, Most Right Reverend Professor Emmanuel Mati, former moderator of the Presbyterian Church, member, Most Reverend T.K. Awachi Pratt, presiding bishop of the Methodist Church, member, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, Presiding Archbishop and General Overseer, Action Chapel International member. Reverend Dr. Joyce Ayi, Executive Secretary, Salt and Light Ministries member. Bishop Dark Edward Mills, Presiding Bishop, Lighthouse Group of Churches member. Reverend Isudanaba, Founder and President, Isudanaba Ministries member. Reverend Victor Kusi Boateng, Founder of Power Chapel Worldwide, member, stroke secretary. And Reverend Dr. Frimpong Manso, General Superintendent, Assemblies of God,
Former.
At the time. Yeah. Now, so that's issue 5. All right. And now, if you get into the findings and the recommendations, they now talk about the role they think the Special Prosecutor or the Attorney General can play, and then they also then do the procurement issues, which they believe clearly there were procurement breaches. So it's, for me, I think it's a damning report, right? I think it has more. It agrees more with the petitioner than it disagrees with him, except of course on the issue of conflict of interest in the matter of JNS talent. But of course people are picking the part that has been in the news, the name and that type of thing, right? But it's a very serious report which is essentially saying that the way the procurement was done for the project was not right, and that the Public Procurement Authority should deal with it, right? So let me read some of the recommendations for you.
Please do.
Now, in light of the foregoing 162, and in light of commissions taking note of the fact that the Board of Trustees of National Cathedral are all clergymen who may or may not be well versed in corporate governance, the commission recommends additionally the capacity building and on good corporate governance be organized for the board members by credible professionals such as the Institute of Directors, Ghana, to sensitize them on good corporate policies and practices in the conduct of their official duties. Also of crucial importance is the amount spent so far on the cathedral. Our investigation showed that as of 3rd May 2022, the amount of 225,962,500 Ghana cedis, described as seed money, had been released for the construction of the National Cathedral per Exhibit 9. This sum of money has been expended according to Exhibit 9 on site preparations, contractors mobilization, US fundraising, consultants and symposia. The stated sum of money is no small amount. Public interest dictates that there ought to be value for money in project execution. Unfortunately, the Commission has no expertise to determine whether there has been value for money, considering the project remains in the same state. Accordingly, the Commission recommends that the Auditor General should conduct a forensic audit on the construction of the National Cathedral project from its inception to date to ascertain whether monies released for its construction have been properly utilized. Having found that the contract awarded to rebate company is void ab initio for being entered into contrary to the mandate provision of the Procurement Act, the Commission also recommends that the Board of Public Procurement Authority should intervene to cancel the contract for the construction of the National Cathedral between the National Cathedral and rebate company, as it has the power to do so under the Procurement Act. The Commission further recommends for further investigation and possible prosecution of the Board of Trustees of the National Cathedral, who superintended over the award of the contracts to rebate company in disregard of Act 663 as amended. These breaches of the procurement laws have the potential of causing international embarrassment to the country, considering its international status and that of the company. I'm going back to the earlier recommendations, So let's do observations and recommendations. The Commission notes with great concern the informal nature surrounding the processes leading up to the transfer of the money to the National Cathedral by the 5th respondent. Administrative lapses at such high positions should not be countenanced. Good corporate governance requires that minutes of directors' meetings ought to be taken and kept in a minute book. Guys, this is National Cathedral. This is to ensure the documentation of key issues discussed at meetings. Unfortunately, both the National Cathedral of Ghana and the 5th respondent company failed to take minutes of meetings under which the issue of financial assistance was discussed. Most importantly, Section 1883 of the Act 992 mandates minutes of meetings of directors to be taken and kept in a book. Section 1883 provides thus: a company shall cause minutes of the proceedings of meetings of the directors and a committee of directors to be entered in a book or books kept for the purpose. On the issue of absence of minutes, the board chair of the third respondent stated thus: documentation on issues involving the National Cathedral of Ghana and JNS Talent Center from January 2020 to September 2021. Kindly note it was a normal administrative transaction and it was therefore not recorded in the minutes of the book. It was an offer made by JNS Limited, which was paid within a short period. The fifth respondent, through his representative, the sixth respondent, also stated during his interview with the commission that, quote, our modus operandi is that we agree among ourselves and not to take minutes of directors' meetings. This is rather a very unfortunate situation and needs to be discouraged. It has the potential to cast doubts in the minds of ordinary men of the integrity of transactions and is a very dangerous practice. Guys, this is CHRAJ, I'm quoting, these are not my words. Now, they are commenting on the sixth respondent's response, who said that their modus operandi is that they agree among themselves and do not take minutes of directors' meetings. And according to CHRAJ, this is a rather unfortunate practice that needs to be discouraged, which has the potential to cast doubts in the minds of the ordinary man on the integrity of the transactions and is a very dangerous practice. Go on. The danger of such informality in handling of affairs is evidenced in the situation where the resolution of the fifth respondent's company to transfer money to the National Cathedral predated the formal request for the company by the third respondent. The resolution to transfer money to the National Cathedral by the third respondent was passed on 25th August 2021, whereas the formal request for the loan by National Cathedral is dated 26th August 2021. In light of the foregoing and in light of the Commission taking notice of the fact that the Board of Trustees of the National Cathedral are all clergymen who may or may not be well versed in corporate governance, the Commission recommends additionally that capacity building on good corporate governance be organized for the board by credible professional bodies such as IOD to sensitize them on good corporate governance. And then the 225 million cedis described as seed money, according to the Commission, is not a small amount, and that public interest dictates that there ought to be value for money in project execution. But because the Commission, which is CHRAJ, has no expertise to determine whether there's been value for money or not, they are recommending that the Auditor General should conduct a forensic audit on the construction of the National Cathedral project from its inception to date to ascertain whether monies released for its construction have been properly utilized. Having found that the contract awarded to rebate is void ab initio for being entered into the contract, they recommend that they cancel it. All right. Now let's go to conclusion. In conclusion, the complaint is justified in part at the end of the investigation. The claim of conflict of interest relating to the fourth respondent is without merit based on the result of investigations, while allegations of breaches of mandatory procurement provision under the Public Procurement Act as amended have been justified. Right, which is why Umar Rusana said it is 1-1 draw. On the issue of conflict of interest between Reverend Kusi Boateng and his company, they did not find. But on the issue of procurement breaches, they did find. The Commission takes the opportunity to express its gratitude to the parties, especially the complainant and his lawyers, for the cooperation extended to the Commission during the investigation. Signed by Dr. Joseph Whittle, 22nd November. So this came on Friday. Somehow it got into the media yesterday. Let me summarize the relief sought, if you have them in front of you, because I think it will be important, because they dealt with the two key issues, conflict of interest and procurement breaches. But the petitioner had at least 5 reliefs he was seeking. And I just wanted to share that with the listeners before, if we have any further comments to pass, we will go through. So the petition was for an investigation into state funds paid to JNS Talent Center by the Controller and Accountant General's Department at the National Cathedral of Ghana, pursuant to Article 218 of the 92 Constitution. Now, Nathan, if you can share with me the 5 reliefs.
Yes. So it says it is the petitioner's prayer, and the petitioners, of course, Honorable
Okujetu Ablakwa.
Yes.
And by the way, first respondent, President, appointee in charge of Ministry of Finance, that's the Finance Ministry. Second respondent, head of Controller and Accountant General's Department, a subsidiary agency at the Ministry of Finance. Third respondent is board appointed by the President with oversight over the cathedral. Fourth respondent is founder of Power Chapel, Kusi Boateng.
Okay.
Fifth respondent is a company limited by shares registered by the Republic of Ghana, that's JNS Talent. Sixth respondent is a branch pastor of the church. 6th and 7th respondents are together with a certain Kwabena Edujemfi as directors of the 5th respondent, the GNS talent. So those are the respondents.
Yes.
Once again, PENDREAM TV say thank you for your time on the channel. Please, if you're a new member, do subscribe before logging out because we have more in store coming your way and you can't afford to lose anything on this platform without listening to it. Please do so. Subscribe, turn the notification bell on so that you will be the first to witness or hear anything that has landed on the channel. Thank you.
PENDREAM TV now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.